All right, David, so it sounds like if you have weekend plans, you better cram them into tomorrow morning because come tomorrow night, it's not going to look very pretty.
Yeah, very early tomorrow morning. I think we get rid of the rain for the most part by tomorrow night, and then it's cold ending to the weekend. So it's kind of the same pattern we've been dealing with pretty much this whole week. And you know what? Right now outside, it's right now we're seeing clouds increasing, so it's really not much going on. It's cold, but we will be watching those temperatures rising late. That's very important because when this precipitation does arrive, we could see some pockets of freezing drizzle, especially across the interior sections late tonight into tomorrow morning. But I think by tomorrow, once the sun comes up, I think we should be out of the woods in terms of any frozen precipitation. Rain and wind develops on Saturday, strongest winds along the coastline, and again, we ended the weekend with chilly, breezy, and cold conditions on Sunday. So temperatures right now, we're in the 20s Caribou. Over to Millinocket, Calais, you're at 21 degrees. But Bar Harbor, you're above freezing, 39 degrees. Rockland as well, 43 degrees. You get that wind off the ocean. Water temperatures 48 degrees, so it doesn't take much wind to get those temperatures going along the coastline. 30 here in Portland, and in Bangor, it's 31 degrees. A little bit cooler over in Freiburg, 27 degrees. But right now, we're watching those winds. Really not a factor quite yet, but we're starting to see them increasing. Rockland, you got a 10-mile-per-hour wind right now, and those are going to continue to increase overnight. Low pressure north of the Great Lakes, that's going to move north of us. We're on the warm side once again, another system, and we're going to continue to be on the warm side as this rain moves in. A couple of snow showers possible overnight tonight, maybe a flurry, stray flurry, as the precipitation falls into that colder air. And that's again why I'm worried about, not worried, but a little concerned about some inland icing as the precipitation starts late tonight. But once the main event gets here, I think the warm air will be moving in and it'll change anything that's frozen to just plain old rain. Wind advisory along the coastline, mid-coast into interior portions of down east. We could see winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour, a little bit closer along the coastline in down eastern sections. That's what we're concerned about, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Could see some power outages, so we'll be watching that, especially tomorrow afternoon. That's when we're expecting the strongest winds. Hour by hour, tomorrow morning we'll start you out. It's cloudy, a couple of sprinkles around, but look at the temperatures. They're starting to rise into the 30s, even 40s along the coastline. Precipitation moves in by about 10 o'clock. It's on the doorstep of Sanford, even into Portland, maybe a couple of sprinkles. So the coats for kids tomorrow, right, I think we'll start off dry, but we'll have to end up wet as we go through the afternoon. Here are the heavier showers moving through, the yellows, the deeper yellow colors. That represents the heavier showers. Look at the temperatures, though. In the 50s along the coastline itself, still holding on to the 40s north, but it's definitely all rain at this point. That moves through by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and a little bit of a lull behind western portions of the state, and then we'll watch the cold front moving through with more showers moving through as we get towards the evening, and then behind it everything starts to move off towards the east. Cooler temperatures start to work in, and then we could even see a couple of lingering snow showers across the higher elevations. Really not going to amount to much, but that is what's in the forecast. Winds tomorrow afternoon will be cranking out of the south once again. We could see 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts along the coastline. I think mostly down eastern areas. That's my concern. That's where we'll see those 60 mile per hour winds. Anytime after 1, 2, 3 o'clock, by 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you'll start to see things starting to shift a little bit further to the east, and that's when we're expecting those winds to be the strongest. In terms of precipitation, anywhere between 1/4 inch to about 1/2 inch is on the table tomorrow. Maybe a little bit more as you get towards Bar Harbor into Calais, maybe pushing 3/4 inch. But again, that's some good news for the ski areas that have been making snow. You're not going to really get too wet like we did in the last event, so that's some good news for you guys. And then you'll probably be able to make some snow tomorrow night. And temperatures behind the cold front, we start to get colder tomorrow night, and then high pressure settles over New England on Monday, and then that pushes to the east. It's return flow. Yeah, we've been talking about this all week. Another system moving towards our north. May see some rain, snow showers at the beginning across the higher elevations, but for the most part, we're on the mild side, and we'll be expecting more rain than white on that particular system as well. So stays kind of mild right into next week. I think the cold air may return late in our 7-day forecast, but for the most part, we're dealing with rain and wind tomorrow. It could get a little bit rocky, especially on the seas tomorrow, so be careful if you're working out on the ocean, any of the lobstermen and fishermen out there. And then on Sunday, it's cool, it's chilly. We start out windy in the morning, the wind subsides, you'll see sunshine, cool start on Monday, and again, unsettled towards the middle of next week. There are some signs that next week, by the tail end, might start to get colder, but hey, we'll just take one storm at a time.
Let's get through the weekend.
Absolutely.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.